If I had to sum up today's entire video in a single word, it would be preventable. Because this entire thing is, to borrow one of my favorite tennis terms, an unforced error. Dear YouTube, if you're watching, nobody did this to you. This is entirely your fault. And you really just woke up and said, today, I will cause problems for myself. And also a bunch of other creators on the platform, which is why a bunch of people are mad about this. But the thing is, usually when YouTube rolls out these completely unnecessary changes that like nobody asked for, there's never much debate about it. Everyone kind of unanimously is just like, wow, that's not... Can you put it back? This is how we lost dislike counters under videos. This is how we lost YouTube Rewind. Though, honestly, after the cringe that was those last few years, ain't nobody missing YouTube Rewind. But today, YouTube's situation actually has the internet a little bit split. Was the change they made actually good? I ask in a questioning tone, despite the answer obviously being no. And yet, for the people who think it was actually a good move, I kind of see where they're coming from. So it's time to look at both sides and see where you stand on this YouTube play button fiasco. But first, welcome. My name is D'Angelo, and I am your professor of large-scale attributive distribution models, which is a very real degree that I definitely do have. Or maybe this is just me broadcasting myself talking in my room like YouTube used to be. And in today's lecture, we're going to talk about why this has found itself at the center of hotly debated discourse over YouTube's decision to nerf it for no reason. And having racked up more than a couple of these bad boys myself, I definitely have a few strong opinions on the matter. So I honestly feel like YouTube is trying to keep this entire situation on the down low, because I did not hear about any of this until very recently when I was just doing hood rat things with my friends, aka fellow YouTubers, and the conversation turned to, have any of you guys seen that tweet about the new play buttons? And so I did like a brain blast to the past, remembering the last time there was discourse about new play buttons. So how many of y'all remember this bad boy? Because when I first became aware of YouTube, this is what a silver play button looked like. Having 100,000 subscribers was a lot rarer at the time, so you didn't see too many of these. And you were even less likely to see a gold play button, because there was one point where reaching 1 million subscribers was just almost unfathomable for most people. And so when I think about the old designs, I suppose I feel a certain level of nostalgia. There's something kind of earnest about them, right? The shadow box design, the 3D nature, the rounded edges of the triangle on the plaque. I don't hate it. But then YouTube rolled out these bad boys and they were like, this is the new hotness. Now, I know we're supposed to hate literally everything YouTube does, but I won't lie to you. I dramatically prefer these new play button designs to the old one. Personally, I think the new designs feel a little more modern. I think they have a bit more edge to them. And I'm also just, I have boring taste. I think they lost their personality, but they kind of got hotter, like me over the years. I mean, I do still have a personality. It's just so much worse. The power has truly gone to my head. But yes, all this to say I'm old, okay? I remember this happening before, but there wasn't quite as much backlash, because at the very least, there was thought put into this change. Even if you didn't appreciate the change, you just thought the new play buttons were ugly, the worst thing to ever happen, they clearly did come from a place of still trying to make creators feel appreciated. But also, I'm just really emotionally attached to my play button, which is part of the reason I like the new designs better. If I had gotten the old one, I would probably like that one better, but I feel like it's just such a community thing. Like when you finally get that silver play button and then you make another channel and you get another silver play button, but your two channels are virtually indistinguishable from each other. And then you forget to upload to this channel for several years. So you make another channel and then you get this silver play button. But also in a moment of mania, there was another channel that I made that also has 100,000 subscribers. I just didn't request a silver play button for that one because I felt like they were going to draw the line at some point. So having earned technically 4 silver play buttons, these aren't just like big ugly boxes to me. I mean, they are that, but they also mean something. I am so grateful whether you followed me through all of this nonsense or just very recently. I could not do any of this without you. And that is kind of what the play button represents to me. Yes, I earned it, but I physically could not have done so without people watching me. So it's like the whole channel earns it, and it's a really beautiful thing. And that's why I would be absolutely pissed if YouTube sent me one of their new silver play buttons. Behold the new silver play button, which has just been control minused into oblivion for no discernible reason. They've also nerfed the gold play buttons, which are apparently now the same size as the silver play button. So you can see here on the very left of the image, you have the original gold play button, but right there in the middle, you've got the new gold play button, and then to its right, you have an old silver play button, which you can see is the same size. And the person who shared this online seems very bummed about it. They're way smaller now. Frowny emoticon. Old ones were way bigger, man. And when I look at this, I really only have one question. And funnily enough, it's the same question I always have whenever YouTube changes anything. Literally, why? What did you achieve? What did you think was going to happen? Like, you have to be trolling at this point. You have to know that everybody was going to hate this. Shrinkflation strikes again. This time it's coming for your YouTube play button. And when I think about just the sheer number of times YouTube has wound up in this position, where they have just innovated new and increasingly unnecessary ways to piss people off, I just know y'all's PR team is out here looking like Ben Affleck. Every time this man is photographed nowadays, he looks like he's on the verge of collapse. This is a human being who has just seen too much. How many PR disasters can one team handle? Free us, YouTube. Free us. Also, speaking of Ben Affleck, why was he in that one Dunkin' Donuts commercial with like Ice Spice? Did I hallucinate that? Was that real?
Ice Spice.
You ever just see two celebrities and you're like, they are not from the same universe? Like, I don't know how to explain it, but Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet, same universe. Zendaya and Tom Holland, same universe. But Timothée Chalamet and Tom Holland are not from the same universe. Make no mistake. Anyways, that's how I feel about these two. And this is probably how YouTube's PR team feels about them making dumb decisions every 10 minutes. And besides that, I feel like play buttons are just such a large part of the meta that by reducing their value like that, it's kind of a slap in the face to the people who are working really hard to get them. It's really easy for me to sit here and say like, oh, this doesn't matter. I already have a play button that is like the normal size. I'm putting myself in the shoes of like working so hard for maybe even years, getting every subscriber you can. When I think about this from a smaller channel's perspective, it's not cool. There's something like mean about that. Like, we all think about the gold play button. We all just see that as the end goal. And so seeing the prize just shrink before your very eyes cannot feel nice. I just got the new golden play button and I hate it so much. It's smaller than my silver ones. I'm not gonna lie, I was quite disappointed. My friend received hers a week before me and was able to get the original larger size. Like, come on, YouTube. Surely there was a way you could have done a smoother transition than this. Well, I mean, there was. It was called not doing this. Why did you do this? We're gonna get into why I think they might have done it. A couple reasons. I can't believe they changed the awards. Wait. On second thought, I can't, since they have changed them previously, and no doubt will again and again and again. Man, YouTube has quite the reputation. Anyway, I pulled these comments from a video from Jack Sucks at Life, who made a video about YouTube play buttons, but I also saw people discussing it on the YouTube subreddit. What do you all think about this change? Is there a reason why YouTube made the new plaque smaller? It's finally here. All those years of work and waiting. Wait, why is it so small? Nothing can truly replace the first original gold YouTube play button. These new plaques are pitiful and worthless. It's honestly probably more worth your time to get a custom made one and make a video of it than to wait for those sad little things. Now, okay, hold on a second. I feel like I have to defend the play buttons a little bit. Not these new ones, because they are kind of pitiful, but the original one was nice. I happen to like the boring ones too. I don't know. Which one do you like better? The Shadowbox version or this one? I prefer this one personally. It's an unpopular opinion, I know, but don't worry, I have even more unpopular opinions coming up. So according to this article from Android Authority, YouTube did say something about the play buttons. But why do I low-key feel like this is just kind of really dishonest? New size, same reward. More creators than ever before are achieving impressive milestones on YouTube and seeing their passion pay off with creator awards. Starting in August 2024, we are introducing a new lighter-sized award. Don't worry, the quality and design is staying the same, along with the prestige and recognition you deserve. I'm so sorry, but what the actual heck does lighter sized mean? Nobody has ever put these two words in this order. It's smaller. It's smaller. You shrunk the awards. Nothing about this page indicates that the awards are smaller. New size, lighter size. The design is staying the same. I genuinely could not blame anybody for not realizing this means their award was going to be like up 2/3 of the size. At the very least, I seriously feel like YouTube should clean this page up a little bit and make it clearer. Hey, those awards you've been seeing the entire time you've used YouTube and you were watching your favorite creators and thinking, wow, I could totally do that. And then you totally did that. You're not getting that. You're getting baby version for babies because we just have so many babies now. This announcement is weak. It's like you want to passively have plausible deniability like, oh yeah, we totally told you guys. But you don't actually want to say the words because you know if you say it out loud, it just sounds super lame. But what YouTube did tell us, and this is a little bit of a jump I'm making, but you let me know if it sounds correct, is that we can basically blame this all on YouTube Shorts. Now, listen, I know there are some great Shorts content creators coming up with original ideas and funny skits and like music. I've seen animations and all kinds of things on YouTube Shorts. But you know what I have also seen? The dumbest content I have ever laid my two eyes on. There is just absolutely no standard, it's YouTube Shorts is like the wild west. Everyone already knew that the algorithm was a mess, and YouTube Shorts is like, what if we did that but with even less control? YouTube so desperately wants to make Shorts happen that they're incentivizing people to continue uploading them by giving them massive amounts of views. Tens of millions of views just on the most random content lifted from anywhere and everywhere. Other people's content just being taken, turned into Shorts, and then getting 20 million views. And for what? It's like YouTube does not care as long as they have some sort of fighting chance against TikTok. And so when I say that this is an unforced error, and I reference the fact that YouTube has done this to themselves, this is what I mean. Not just the fact that they didn't have to change the size and now people are mad at them. They did not have to go so hard with the Shorts algorithm. We wouldn't have an untold number of people who have 100,000 subscribers because they post the most random content of all time. But if you want to play short games, I guess you literally win shorter prizes. If I just go to YouTube and I say thanks for 100K, and then I just pick literally the first video I see thanking people for 100K, and I just plop them into Social Blade, you're gonna see that at 102,000 subscribers, there are currently 562,000 channels in a higher position. After manufacturing 500,000 of these, the service that YouTube uses to manufacture these was probably like, enough. We are running out of cheap silver material. How many more people could possibly get 100,000 human beings to follow them? But no, to me, in my opinion, pure conjecture, this is just like a really poor decision made to try to save costs to make up for the fact that you have just completely turned your algorithm into something it was never meant to be, where like getting 100,000 subscribers isn't nearly as difficult to achieve. And like, I guess I would feel sorrier if YouTube wasn't generating untold billions of dollars in revenue every single year. Oh, I guess it is told. $31 billion last year, at least according to this source. I feel like making a decision that affects all of the creators who over the past few years have been working so hard to keep people on your platform and just snatching away the marker of their success and replacing it with a wimpy version is undeniably lame. However, far be it from me to cape for a billion-dollar corporation, but there is another side to this argument that I think has a little bit of merit. I just received my golden play button in the mail. I am okay with it being smaller, as the golden play button before was a bit too ridiculously huge. This one looks nicer on the wall. I wish it was maybe just an inch or so larger than the silver, but I do think I prefer it over the giant one that existed before. So when I first saw this, I was like, huh? I was trying to remember, like, is the golden play button ridiculously huge? Because it never really looked that big in anyone's video. And this one Reddit comment said, stone me, but the new gold play button looks better in my opinion. Way less wasted space, better color. They have a charm to them, says this other person. And so I looked back at the picture in question and I was like, okay, from a wasted space perspective, I do kind of think I like the smaller gold play button better. But I was like, no, stop it. Don't, give the multi-billion-dollar company an excuse. Even if they wanted the design to be a little bit cleaner, look how much smaller they made it. Why did they make it smaller when the original one was not ridiculously huge? But then I asked myself again, like, was the original play button ridiculously huge? And I don't remember. So I pulled it out of the closet and oh my God, the original gold play button is ridiculously huge. Here is my entire head for scale. Like, I am being absolutely mogged right now. You can't really tell this in most people's videos, but it is actually bigger than my body. Why is it this size? And then I went and found my other gold play button and I was like, gosh, it's kind of heavy too. And it's just kind of unwieldy. And I realize now the reason I forgot that these were so oversized was because when I moved, I did not display them. These are such comically large plaques. I genuinely do not know where in my home to put them, despite them representing possibly my greatest achievement. Also, if you're new and you're wondering like, what is with this guy and all of these play buttons? I'm kind of a YouTube legend. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, now you know. But yeah, I'm just gonna say it. I know people are going to be mad at this one. I think YouTube was right to reduce the size of the golden play button. Horribly unpopular opinion. I'm glazing the corporate. I get it. But listen, there is no earthly reason for this to be larger than my actual torso. This is a perfectly decent size for an award. This is a murder weapon. I have never ever hung my golden play buttons on the wall because I was like, I'm just gonna walk past it, it's gonna fall off and kill me. I feel like no one ever wanted to complain. No one ever wanted to be that person who like should be so grateful but just has that one nitpick. But I have the nitpick. These awards are absolutely ridiculous. Like on the one hand, thank you for changing my life and allowing me to do things that I never thought were possible because I genuinely would not be the same person without YouTube. But also, where am I supposed to put these? Where am I supposed to put them? So let me tell you what my perfect solution is. Return the silver play buttons to their original size immediately. These new like book-sized silver play buttons that you're shipping to people, in my opinion, is just absolutely insulting. Then send me one of those smaller gold play buttons now. Well, I guess technically they can't send me one of those gold play buttons now because this is my biggest channel and this is my second biggest channel. And I guess technically the third biggest channel is the one you're watching right now, which I'm fairly certain does not have 1 million subscribers. So new objective, I need 1 million subscribers. And I'm sure it's on its way because as many of you have noticed, I'm in my bag right now with the content. What can I say? I'm having a moment. I am on a roll. And the moment I pass 1 million subscribers on this channel, I will ask YouTube for the smaller version so I can finally show people. The only people who think that this is cool are you guys. Thank you, by the way. But anybody else I would show this to would be like, what? Are they all that big? Please send me a play button that is not 3 times larger than my head. I don't care that they're smaller now. Size does not matter. Okay, wait. Everybody who has a psych degree, put it down. This is only about play buttons. This is not a metaphor. And then after you send me the baby play button for babies, because I am actually baby, send everybody else the larger version or let them opt in to your smaller versions. Because who knows, maybe there are more creators like me who are like, wow, that's great, but I don't need that much real estate dedicated to my achievements. I already have a 7-foot statue of myself in my living room. How much more D'Angelo does the world truly need? And obviously, if even like a percentage of people are opting for the smaller sizes, YouTube is going to save money in the long run. But shouldn't people at least get a choice after working so hard is how I feel? Again, it would be really easy for me to just sit here with my play buttons and be like, oh, you guys are just whining about nothing. But I remember being a small channel. It felt like such a long road to that play button. Absolutely no way I would have let some big YouTuber on the internet sit around and like give YouTube an excuse for doing what was ultimately going to feel like a slap in the face. So this one is for all my small channels out there. I see you, but also I understand. I understand why they changed these because this is ridiculous. Can we agree that this is ridiculous while also acknowledging that it should be our choice whether or not we want to opt out of the ridiculousness? Because 1 million people is kind of big, you know? 1 million people is kind of big, you know? I have such a way with words. Since I'm already complaining, like this is one thing I actually do miss about the old shadow box versions. The triangle used to be rounded. Look at these edges. But now, it is also a murder weapon because I tried to clean the fingerprints off of this before recording and now my fingers look like Junies from Spy Kids. That reference is a deep cut right there for anybody who's watched my 90-minute Spy Kids video, but it's not as deep as these cuts. This ain't what Shawn Mendes meant when he said I'll be needing stitches. Anywho, wake me up inside. Anyway, that's my take on the situation. Dave's take on the situation is that play buttons have always sucked and we should just go back to sculpting everything out of marble. And I, of course, would love to hear your take? I mean, this is the part of the video where a layman would ask you to subscribe and like the video and leave a comment, but I will ask you to enroll, evaluate the video, and submit your feedback, because I am of course running a 100% completely, totally, honestly, not really, but somewhat maybe unaccredited university. Definitely. I mean, just ask anybody in the student body and they'll confirm it for you. We're totally legit. And as for me, whether you'll see me in 24 hours or 24 months is honestly anyone's guess, but until then, thanks for watching. Your homework for today is to get some sleep. Please. Please, Ben Affleck, I know you're watching. Take a nap.